Hi everyone. Please tell me if you can hear me okay. And I'll switch to my iPad. iPad. Okay, so today we are going to do again this thing. I'm hoping to finish it today. So looked for some I looked for some references for this. Not much, but I want to finish the outsides. So we'll switch this character off and delete some layers that I don't think are needed anymore. First, and then okay, so this is locked. I don't think we need the sketch anymore. This these are the things that Kana will draw later. So I don't think we need. Let's leave it. What is this? This is something that I did like a sketch. Okay, let's delete this also. This is the sky, and these are the outsides. So we have it on a different layer. Kana is actually making the animation for this right next to me right now. So I want to finish the background so she can put it into the animation. Okay, so today I want to do this part here. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, this part here. So I want to do this island, put more details here, and I have to decide what to do with the with this part here. So with the tree and with the bush thing. And I actually have some reference photos of just trees and stuff that I took in Enoshima actually. So it should present one-to-one reference of what plants are actually there. So I will use those. But this is just that, like a photo of a tree. And I also looked for some like image reference for nice backgrounds, and I'm still kind of at a loss at what style do I want to do this. Okay, so the first step I think would be to adjust the colors for this. I don't like that the whole thing is kind of bluish in tint, so I'll try to modify the color of the tree a bit so it's more like yellowish green color. Maybe make it more saturated. I want to get this kind of effect that the tree is backlit in a way. So I want to get this kind of backlit effect, and I'll try to do this today. Okay, so first I want this main part to be more bright and saturated, and more or less this color. I want to get the whole thing so it's more kind of vibrant and nice. and the front part should actually be darker, so I'll make it use the same hue and saturation, make the saturation more and make it darker, and change the color like this, I guess. And the the branches are nice, but I would like them to go more like this, so it's more like the tree is bigger and we can only see the bottom branches, and I'll add some stuff on the left side too. Okay, so let's pick a brush, and you can actually download the brushes from the link I'm showing on the screen. I put a link so you can download the brushes. I will make a new layer here, and I'll make a box that will show me where the window is. And because we don't need really these layers here, and this will be like a guide for me where should I paint until for now. Let's lock this so we don't destroy this one, and I don't need this layer for now also. Okay, so let's try to make the tree more interesting, and I'll do this by modifying the color a bit also, so make it more saturated and dark, less saturated maybe, and darker like so. Have a good nap. I'm drinking tea. I'm drinking lemon tea, which is awesome because I have it in my kind of tumbler thing, so it stays warm. It's getting a bit more warm in Japan right now, but even though it's still kind of chilly today, so okay, so I want to do a trunk here, and I want to erase a part of these leaves, not with this brush, maybe with something like this brush, because I want to show the underside of the branch more, so we can put some nice shadow here on the leaves that are in the back. So I'll pick a brush, and let's make it like this one. Let's choose the color, and let's make it like darker, more bluish a bit, and let's start painting here, and let's see what happens. Okay, maybe more like this, and let's use some more saturated colors also, like here. What is a DVR? I don't know what's DVR. DVR. Okay. If you have any questions or things you would like me to talk about, I can just ask. You can just go to my Gumroad, just look for my name and Gumroad. Uh, Gumroad on Google or something, and you have my Gumroad store account. And then you can download them from there. Okay, so first I'm going to test the colors. Yeah. For these videos that I'm doing right now from the iPad painting, I would like to put them, make a video of my process after Kana finishes the animation. So after Kana finishes the animation, I'll put together a video of me doing the whole process of painting this background with the things that she'll add to it and with the character and with the animation. So I want to make a kind of full-fledged video from this. So maybe after it's published, I'll um, also make the DVR public, but the recording public. But for now, I'm just doing the live streaming, so you can see me painting, and so I can talk to you. Yay! Do I like Moomin? Yes, I like Moomin. We like Moomin.
We like a movie.
Actually, Moomin Valley was one of the first animated shows that I watched in Poland when I was a kid, and I was not aware at this time that this show was actually made by in collaboration with Japanese animation studios. So I was watching an Japanese animation actually, but I didn't know that it was a Japanese animation at that time. So I like it a lot. Is there anything you hate about Procreate? Mm, it's not that I hate anything especially about Procreate, but the only thing that I would like to see improved upon is the translation tool. So when you pick a layer and you move it around or resize it, it makes it a bit blurry, and the blurriness is more actually than with other painting software. So if you have the same file in, for example, Photoshop, and you move the layer and you like resize it a bit and rotate it a bit, um, it it is also a bit destroyed. It's a bit blurry, but in Procreate this effect is more prominent. In Photoshop, the final result is a bit more sharp and crisp and nice, but in Procreate it's still a bit blurry. So when I do a sketch and with lines and then have a character, for example, or and then I want to like change the place of the character or the size of the character a bit, and so I translate it. I use the free like transform tool and just move it around a bit. It tends to destroy the lines a bit more than I would like it to. So this is one of the things. This is one thing that comes to my mind. I'm using the 11-inch new iPad. Okay, so this here is supposed to be like a bush thing. Yeah, I mean, you can have a lot of options, but ultimately, this is a software for painting and sketching, I guess. So you could have a lot of options that you have in Photoshop or an app like that, but you would lose probably the simplicity of the interface, and um, some features would also probably um, make it more heavy and make it difficult, for example, to record the video progress or something like that. So I'm happier with less functionality but stable, really usable software. So yeah, the thing that I would like to see in Procreate is, because I use it for sketching a lot, is having files that have more than one page. So, for example, if you want to sketch a storyboard for a comic, Procreate would be ideal for this. But managing files that have more than one like page is difficult. So making just layers and copy and pasting layers and doing and showing and hiding layers is not really good. So the thing that I would like to have is um, having just like a panel here that would pop out, and you can have like 10 or whatever pages that you can sketch on. So that would be great for doing storyboards for animation or for a comic, for example. So if I could wish for a functionality, this was would be high on my list, I guess. Yeah, even if you take something and then make it smaller, which should produce nice and crisp results, and actually does in Photoshop, for example. In Procreate, it makes it a bit blurry. I mean, now they have like different modes of transformation in the filter, so you can pick your own like setting and make it a bit better probably. But I would like for the software to make it the choice for me, so I don't have to play with the setting each time. I'm using the matte sketching and matte painting, mostly matte painting in this video because we are doing something that's closer to a painting than a sketch. So I'm using the painting set, and this is like the main brush. Okay, so I'm looking at a photo of a plant. So I'm trying to make something that's similar to what I see, not exactly, but to make it more realistic. So it's not only like a blob of color, but something that actually has a shape. So I will try to put some shadow here. And actually, Procreate is getting better and better. They added some functionality that I really wanted to have, like the layer selector tool. This was one of the things that I talked with the Procreate people about actually, and they were like, "Okay, this is something we are actually working on. So just wait, and we will add it to the software." So they are listening to people and making decisions, and I'm pleased with the software. Actually, this is probably the application that I use the most for my digital work right now. So for most of my sketching and concept arting and making sketches that I later send to the clients, or just for me as a reference for my paintings, most of the things I do in Procreate lately. And Photoshop is mostly a tool for me for editing the stuff that I already painted and scanned in, and I need to clean it up and do stuff with it. But yeah, I also paint with Photoshop from time to time, and I have a brush set for Photoshop too. And actually, lately I have been using Clip Studio also because I'm kind of trying to branch out from Adobe stuff. So I'll be probably making a nice set of brushes for Clip Studio also, but I have to figure out how exactly it works so I can do some interesting brushes. I'll probably import some of the brushes that I have from Photoshop because I like them and I'm used to them. So I'll try to make similar set for Clip Studio. Okay, so I have a few leaves here. I'll try to duplicate them and just move them around so I don't have to paint everything. And because I'm painting this actually at a bigger size than it is needed, so this file is 2000 pixels, but the animation that Kana is making is, I think, 1500 or 600, so I don't have to be like really sharp because she will rescale it either way. So my main beef with Adobe is that they make a lot of stuff uh, that everything requires Adobe subscriptions, and they're just making more and more applications that either just copy functionality of applications that already are, or just are an addition that I don't know who will use. But in Photoshop, for example, when the new version comes out, there are more and more bugs and problems. So instead of adding functionality to Photoshop that everyone wants, they are making new applications that I don't know if they are useful at all. So, for example, we have been waiting for brush folders in Photoshop for years and years and years and years, and everyone wanted that. But instead of like simple stuff like this, they make like mobile applications and stuff. So if they really aim for the professional market and they want the professionals to still use their applications, um, I would like them to do things more for the pro. For example, there is a functionality of animation in Photoshop, and a lot of people would like to use it in like professional animation, but a lot of the functionality is just not there. But even though you speak with Adobe and tell them, okay, we need buttons for the animation timeline functions to make a new frame or something like that, now you have to choose everything from the menu, which is really time consuming. There's no movement to make it actually, and other applications like Clip Studio were able to implement like animation functions in a year or two and make it work really well. So I don't know, but whatever. Let's not be negative about a software. How do I unselect this? I don't want selection. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I just duplicated it and changed the color a bit, so to make a new layer that's underneath, so we can have a bit of three-dimensionality here in the leaves. I don't want to paint everything, but I want to make a new layer here so we can have some of the leaves being more like green, and I want to merge this down, lock it so it's locked, and add a bit of color variation on top of it. And I'll use some colors from here-ish, so it looks like the leaves are reflecting the blue sky. Make it more saturated a bit, I think. Okay, so make us, so let's use a more, yeah, but I mean, like Clip Studio had a huge um, history in making like retas and stuff, but at the same time, Adobe um, has a lot of experience in making video editing software like After Effects and uh, Premiere and things like that. But I don't know, it seems like the knowledge of animation and Flash, for example, um, is there, but there's a lot of applications that do a lot of things, but none is good for like making animated movies. So I would like, for example, Adobe to take some functionality of Flash, the keyframes or something, and put it in Photoshop, or make some brushes or available from Photoshop in Flash or something like that, so we can use it to do something. If I would be able to do anim- drone animation with nice lines and nice brushes in Flash and then export it to After Effects and then put paint it in Photoshop backgrounds, I would be really happy. But it's not going to happen soon. Okay. So I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but recently I have been to Fujisawa and I bought a new notebook which I'll be using for my journal because I have been journaling since I was in middle school probably, but with just pauses here and there. And recently I have been using a Moleskine notebook that I bought in the Studio Ghibli Museum, which was really nice, but I am about to finish it, so this time I invested in a Midori notebook, which looks really nice, and I will try to do something more akin to bullet journaling probably. Not with the tasks that I need to do, but something like events and thoughts and ideas maybe with different points. This looks kind of interesting, I guess. Let's see how it looks with the inside of the. Yeah, okay. I want to make this part here brighter, probably. Let's turn this off. So I want to make light fall like this. So we have a bit more brightness here. So I'll add like streaks of light for now, and let's work from this up. Hi. Overall, I'm really pleased with the software I'm using right now for my painting and for my video editing. There is a lot of options that you can use. Some of them are really cheap actually, and some of them are more expensive. But you can do a lot of stuff with really cheap and but good software. You can do a lot of things on the iPad too, which is awesome. For a long time, I was editing all my YouTube videos on the iPad, uh, and I was filming a lot of my YouTube videos with my iPhone. So you can actually use the iPhone and the iPad to do a lot of interesting things, which is also really nice. I think this is actually um, the use iPhone or the iPad for creative things kind of image that Apple was aiming for the iPad for years and years, but now uh, at last we can actually do stuff with the iPad with the Apple Pencil. I don't regulate my daily schedule because um, mostly this is what I didn't like in me working in an animation studio. Um, Thank you. It's just going every day to work and doing the same thing every day is not a thing that I like and not a thing that makes me productive. Uh, So in the animation studio, I started at I think 10 a.m. and I was doing animation backgrounds all day, every day. So na zdrowie. And when one background is finished, you just move to the next one, and it kind of makes this loop of just working without end. And I wanted to change it so I can do a lot of different things in different days. Mm-mm-mm. So, for example, one day I would wake up earlier and start my watercolor painting, and then next day I will wake up late and do some writing first for my new book, and then do some painting and maybe a live stream or Q&A session for Patreon or whatever. Or and then the next day I'll just go for to a cafe or whatever with Kana, and then do some writing there. And then when I come back to our house, I'll just edit a video for YouTube. So I try to differ my days. It's just because I'm the only person that can say work. You have to work at something. So there's no one to just kick me around and say, oh, you have to do this or you have to do that. So I try to diversify what I do every day, so I don't get bored so easily, because I do get bored easily when I have to do the same things again and again. I try to finish the artworks that I work on. So I try to push myself to finish the things that I started, if I can. Even if it's not 100% the thing that I would like to achieve, because I don't know, I didn't have enough skill to finish it, so it looks like I would like it to look, or I didn't know how to do stuff. It's better to finish a thing than just to abandon it halfway through. Um, but I do what I can to avoid failed paintings if I can. So I do what I can to have a sketch, a rough or color test before I start on a painting that I feel kind of anxious to do, and I don't know if it will work well. I try to do enough like groundwork and rough paintings and sketches and tests, so I know more or less what I'm doing. And with this I can mostly avoid like paintings that are completely just useless. Okay, so I'll try to add some branches between the leaf layers. So I'll pick a nice like brown color, and let's add some stuff here and there. My favorite art store in Tokyo is the Sekaido in Shinjuku, which is a huge store with a lot of things there that you can buy. And the staff there actually, in every branch of the Sekaido stores, the staff is really helpful and they have a lot of nice things. The only minus of this store is that because of like brand tie-ups and um, other stores selling the other things, they don't have few like known brands. For example, they don't sell Copic markers, but you can just go to another store to buy the things that you cannot buy in Sekaido. And I like also Sekaido because they have like membership cards. So if you are an artist and you buy stuff regularly there, you can get nice discounts, a lot actually. And when I buy big things like watercolors or paper for my paintings, I can get a lot of discount uh, for my next purchase. So it's nice, and it's not like a weird points or whatever that you have to gather. It's just you get a every time you buy something you get, I think, like 10 or percent point value coupon, and you just can use it at your next purchase. So it's useful. Okay, so advice for high schoolers. I actually responded to an email that was similar to your question recently, so I have my mind set freshly about this. I don't think that talent is something that is really important. I think that mindful analyzing of your own art and of art of people that you admire is more important, and then trying hard to make every piece you produce better than the last one. And if you do a lot of things with this in mind, you'll get better. So it would be nice to have someone to ask, so you can ask about things. So it's nice to have a teacher, but it doesn't have to be like art school or anything formal like that. But it would be nice to have someone to ask about things that you don't know. So um, it's also important to have like an environment of fellow artists that are further than you in the art kind of challenge thing, making their art good and well known. So you can ask some questions not only about your art, not only about the style, but what to do with this or that, or how to do taxes, for example, and stuff like this. So I guess yeah, trying hard and asking questions is really important. One of the things that um, I'm really kind of sad, disappointed that I didn't do when I was at school is asking questions. While I actually had a lot of like professors and people that knew stuff at my hands, so I was able to ask them questions, but I didn't because I thought like whatever, I'll figure out things by myself and anyway. And that was a mistake because asking questions to people lets you save a lot of time. Hello. Oh, you can buy a lot of things in Japan that are not sold anywhere else in terms of like art supplies, especially things that are from the Japanese kind of culture. So like brush pens and brush markers, because Japanese people like to write their letters and still with brushes. They have a lot of nice brush pens that are not easily available anywhere else. Things like manga supplies, so things for drawing comics, if you are into that, are really well developed, and you can get them anywhere in Japan, and they're not so expensive. And maybe some Japanese brands of like paints and watercolors. Okay. But you have to remember that if you buy some things and then go back to your country and then you use it, so you would have to buy again and again if it becomes part of your daily routine. So it's better to buy things that you can replace, or things that you will just use like as a hobby. um, or if you like it a lot, like, oh, I really need it, you can then like import it or buy it on websites that sell Japanese art equipment outside of Japan. Hello, everyone. Yeah, today I'm doing the stream at a bit of a different hour, so I was hoping that some of you that usually cannot join the stream that I'm doing like in the evenings can join me today. Yes, I. But yeah, you can see things more or less. That's why I have the blue line, so I know more or less where I need to aim with things. Then the guy. Either way, the guy will be here. So, but he'll be moving. So I don't know. I prefer to paint it everything. I'll later use it as for a YouTube video also. So I would like to have a finished painting, so it does not have like the usual holes that animation backgrounds usually have. So okay, so there's a character here, so we don't need to paint it. This canvas is 2000 pixels, but the actual size of the animation I think is 1600. So Kana will have to make this background smaller when she uses it in her uh, work. Thank you. Thank you for buying the book. It's still doing quite alright on Amazon thanks to your support. So I'm really glad about it. It took a lot of time to make, and I'm making the second one. Yes, I haven't used the paper like protector yet. I have a really cheap protector, just usual one that I bought when the iPad was new, and I'm quite pleased about it. It's just regular, just glossy one. There was no matte one when I bought the iPad. It was really new, so I was not able to buy any matte ones. But yeah, it works okay, and I don't want to go over the stress of applying a screen protector again, so I just avoid buying a new one. I really don't like the processes of applying this screen protector because of all the like small particles of dust or things that can get under it and ruin the whole thing. So I'm just like, okay, this one went okay. I'll be using this until I really have to change it. So thank you. I'll be meeting with my designer soon about the Tokyo at Night book. We already did some like mock-ups and things, but because I already painted more than half of the pages that are needed for the book, we have something to work with. So we will start figuring out the design for all the pages and how to combine the text with the images and things. I want to make it more. I don't know if it's a good word, but more classy than the first book. So more like an art album than just a book about stories of Tokyo. So uh, we will try to do put more adult fonts and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things, design oriented things that I'll have to oversee also. Okay. I don't want to make it too cluttered, so I'll put a new layer here, and I'll take a brush that's more like softer, and let's try to add a bit of texture. Okay, maybe darker. Yeah. Okay, let's turn the insides of the. This looks okay, and put a screen layer here. Maybe I don't need the texture. So I put a brush with no texture. Maybe this is screen, and maybe this color. Yeah, something like this, I guess. Okay, so let's turn this off for now, and let's continue. I can speak Japanese. uh, about the fruits basket thing. I remember that I saw the old animation when I was still, I think, in Poland, or when I first came to Japan, something like that. I don't know what year was that, and it was just anime for me, so I watched it and um, never thought more about it. But recently I saw that they are making a remake of it, and just a remake. So the story, I think, is the same that the old one, and I actually think that why. I know that it's a franchise that maybe is well known in Japan, so they will get the revenue from this, so they don't have to be afraid that they will produce a animation that will not earn any money, and this is like their biggest concern, I guess. But I don't think that there's any sense in making the same animation series again. I think it's kind of meh. Okay, if it's like the animation outstripped the original manga, so they didn't know how to finish it, then maybe it's good for making it again, like they did with the Full Metal Alchemist or something. But yeah, then I maybe can understand why are they doing it. I need to make these leaves more like. I want to make a difference between the bush here and the leaves of the tree, so I want to make them a bit smaller. Mm, maybe I'll use this brush. Yeah, okay, let's try with this one. I'm actually watching Mob Psycho, and I think it's nice. I like the second season so far. There were some weird episodes, but yeah, the whole thing is weird, so nice.
楽しんで作ってる感があるよ
ね
ね、ウォーブサイトは。
なんかいろいろ試していろいろやってて、なんか
普通だけどクリエイティブ。
そうね、なんか思っ たことがないストーリーラインが出たりとかして、なんかちょっとなんだこれみたいなもんあったんだけど、なんか面白いんですよね毎回。なんか急に主人公たちがなんか友達じゃなくなったみたいなとか、なんかそういう。So yeah, I think the Mob Psycho is really creative. They do a lot of interesting things with the storyline and with the characters, and they don't stick to one pattern of the like superpower. Let's destroy everything. Wow, and just blowing everything away with his superpowers. And but they also show the um, his development of the main character, which is really nice. And I was surprised because in the latest episode they showed like how the main character looked like when he started, and when he first appeared in the animation. So I was like, oh, he was really a kid then, and now he's grown up a bit through the series, and it's really nice to see. So I like it. It's a nice. ありがとうございます。Okay, so to make some difference between this part and this part, I'm putting some small leaves on the back layer. I will make the color later. So for now, I'm just trying to add some interesting leaf patterns. I decided to come to Japan because I knew that there are schools here that I would like to attend, and that the animation and illustration and manga, so comic business here is pretty huge. So if I was able to find work, maybe I would be able to stay in Japan and work in the field that I would like to work in. And because in Poland, illustration industry was and probably still is about non-existent, so I decided that I have to go somewhere. And I was really lucky because I got a Japanese government scholarship for my university, so I was able to study things in Japan and then apply the things that I learned uh, to my work and find work in an animation studio in Japan. So I was lucky in this way. Without the scholarship, I wouldn't be able to come to Japan. I was doing paintings and things, but um, I was not able to find work in Poland after I finished the university there. So I do characters. I did a comic recently. Now I'm doing the Tokyo at Night book. So I'm doing more stuff like this. But actually, after I finish the book, I would really like to um, do some more characters and do a next comic. So I will do more characters, and I want to do a next illustration series with characters like the ones I did with the Bicycle Boy and Yokohama series. So yeah, it's just even though you support me really well on Patreon and use my online stores, I need to do some things professionally that will secure my living in Japan for some time. So I need to publish some books and do some commissions and stuff. Uh, so now I'm working on my second book to become famous and to dominate the world. No, just to um, output some nice things. But um, the plus of this is also that I can get some commissions and work with some people that I would not be able to work with if I did not do the book. So I also want to do some goods, and I want to open a like a online store again, because Ticktail is going away. So I'll be forced to shut down my print store that I have. So I'm thinking about some alternatives to that also. I really like things, so I like nice a nice sketchbook, or a nice pen, or nice pencils, or whatever. So I'm really interested in making things also. I would like to make some things like a sketchbook, for example, or a watercolor palette of my own device in the future, somewhere. So that would be also interesting things to do. I want this color here. Yes. Okay, so when painting leaves like this, it's really important not to go completely random, because leaves never are completely random. They face more or less the same way because of the sun. So mostly there are like this, for example. Whatever, like this one is like a different direction completely. So it's nice to have them, like to imagine like the branch here, and then just go from there and make them less random and more ordered. Makes it actually appear like it's a real branch of leaves that just go and grow from a stick. So um, it's good to have a photo reference or something in your mind that you can work from. And it's nice to remember also that the sticks, so the branches, don't branch in just random way. Okay, maybe I'll just erase a bit here and there, so it's not a brush stroke but has some randomness. Okay, and let's add some like deep bluish color, like this one here. I like to pick colors from the painting that I already did, so I can have more color, how do you call it, consistency. Okay, something like this, and let's add some like random leaves here and there. So there's probably like a branch here that goes down, but we'll do it with another brush. Maybe too much. No. Yes. Yeah, I animated traditionally when I was at school, and I'm not really a good character animator. So I liked it. I liked the process of like drawing with pencils and then and shooting it with the camera and checking. Uh, it's a nice analog process that I would like to do again. But if I would like to do an animation by myself and just do it with the resources that I have, I need to do it digitally because it just takes too much time to repair things and correct things on paper, and I'm not a good animator, so I correct and repair things a lot.
ブレンダーがちょっと面白そう。
Ah, yeah.
ね。
Like for example, I would if when I have a bit more time, I would be really interested in the new Blender because it has some new animation features that I would really like to test, and I'm happy that they are going in this direction. Also, I have seen some demo animation that they had done with the new version of their software, and it looks awesome. So I would like to try it. Like the mixing of 3D and 2D is really interesting for me. I'm not really good at 3D either, but like making, for example, 3D objects of my painted backgrounds and then using them for camera movement or stuff like that would be um, really interesting. Yeah, the grease pencil I really have to test. Okay, let's move to this part a bit. Let's make a clipping mask of this, and let's merge it down, and let's merge down this one, even though it was empty. Okay, and I need to fix some things that I find. Okay, I don't like brush strokes that look like brush strokes, so I try to fix them when I find them. And I also want to use this brush to add some details on top of this, like highlights and branches. I think about the design in some ways. For example, I see that there's too less the contrast between like this plants here and this plants here, and the background is too low, so the plant in the front is not visible enough. um, that's why I will make a new layer, and I'll put some brush strokes in front of the plant in the back, so the plant in front is more visible. In this way you can make a background more readable and kind of more design the space and how it looks. And okay, let's put the light. The light is on, and let's put this one, and let's put the insides. And let's see. Okay, I think it looks more or less okay. Okay, so I will add a layer about here-ish, and I'll take this brush, and because this is like a hand drawn kind of type painting, and you have these hand painted strokes and edges and highlights, I want to add some of this taste to the back plane too. So I will just take a brush like this, so just a simple brush with some texture that I used for strokes, and I will add some leaves and like details and highlights that will stand out more. So like this color, for example, and paint some things like this, for example. So it will add a bit of variation to the thing and be a more kind of hand drawn taste, so it does not look too digital. And I'll add some like leaves here and there, some some black details too, not black, dark details too, like fix some things. I don't really mind the layers because this I'm making this for Kana, so she can manage. If I was making this for animation, for a real animation, I would be more concerned about the layers and keeping everything edited so you can easy to edit, easy to correct. But here I'm less concerned about the layers. I'm more concerned about my ease of painting, and so I can do stuff. Yeah, this looks nice. I would like. I think I like this style. So I'll add some interesting leaves here, for example, to make it more flat and 3D looking at the same time. And I like a more like reddish color maybe here. To add some details like too red, too orange, like this maybe. Yeah. So we can see that this is like a bunch of plants that are different and they have different leaves, and some of them are this kind of red color, some of them are really okay. And some highlights here and there. This looks interesting. Okay. Yeah, I have the layers. I have a lot of layers, but in proper animation I would um, make the layer how they call it, junban, so order, easy to understand for a different person. But because Kana is just sitting next to me and she will edit things like next to me, I can help and just okay. So this is on this layer and this is on this layer, and I will just how do you call it, merge some things. But in a proper animation, you would never do things like paint over things that are in that should be below things, and using too much layers on everything, and making adding details to different things on the same layer. So then when someone wants to fix only the highlights on this plant, for example, he will have to like copy and paste it and stuff. But if something needs to be fixed, I can also do it here. So, and I would name layers properly and do things more in folders so they're easy to understand. I would use clipping masks and make it plain to understand for a person who didn't who is not working like beside me. It makes things slower at first. You have to get used to it. And some people name their layers and do folders and are really diligent about it. And I was not diligent enough. So I will be like, okay, you paint things of good quality, but your layers are always like, "Bleh." And I was like, haha, I'm sorry. So I would use a lot of layers and I would use clipping masks all of the time. So the layer selection tool was, I think, tool that I used the most in Photoshop. So you'd press the command key, I think it's control on Windows, and you click on a layer and it gets selected automatically. So I wouldn't use the layer, the layer panel like really sporadically. I would just do a shitload of layers. Sorry for the expression. I think there was like 1,500 or something in just simple paintings that I did. And but the director was really pleased because he couldn't just edit everything. And they actually, I didn't edit them, but the yeah, but the the background director would edit them. So for example, some scenes would fit better together, or they needed to adjust the time of the day. So I would give it to the background director, and they would do the adjustments. Just few times when I handed the background, they were like, "Oh no, you know what? We have to fix this in this and this," and they would give it back to me. But mostly, I was not the one doing the like adjustments and corrections. For me, my task was just to paint most backgrounds in the shortest amount of time with the best quality I could. So um, I was focusing on this task. Okay. Okay, let's choose this layer here. Hmm. It differs on the mistake. For some mistakes, it's easier to paint over, but for some mistakes, it's easier to correct it. If you have layers, you can always like put like hue saturation, for example, and just make it lighter and make it less saturated without over painting it again. So it's really useful to have layers if you can. But when I paint just for myself, I use layers, but I don't. Uh, I do it kind of instinctively, so I don't pay so much attention what's on what layer. Just keep things separate, so it's easier for me later to fix things. But for animation backgrounds, there are rules, how you should do layers, and what um, kind of scheme you should use for layers. And okay, this should be on layer, and the shadow should be on a creeping mask, and the highlight should be on a creeping mask, and a detail like this should be on a different layer, and then you put it in a folder. And then so there are like schemes that make it easier to understand for people that are working with you on the same project. But when I'm working just for myself, or like here for Kana, I do a lot of layers, and I try to keep stuff on separate layers, but I don't pay so much attention about the layer um, scheme, and I just make it easier to use for myself. So sometimes I would just make a new layer and overpaint things that I don't like instead of fixing them. Okay, and let's add some highlights on top of the tree. Maybe I want to add like light shining through leaves here also, so I'll add few bright spots here and there, so it seems like there is like a light from the left up shining on few leaves and branches here and there. So for example, here I'm adding small details in the background. I should do it on the layer below, uh, on this layer here, but I'm lazy, so I won't do it. I haven't done backgrounds recently. ど
あ、すごいかわいい。
うなんかこんな感じ。
わあ、すごいどんどん書き込まれている。美しい。
まあ後で一枚絵としてもなんか見せれるようにしてるんだから、
うん
まあこのなんか小物はすごいお待ちしております。
こんなどう載せよう。
前のスタイルでいいよ。
いいのか。
うん、
そっか
結構良かっただと思う。
そっか。後でさ、見てる人たちにさ、
うんうん。
どういうリラックスタイム過ごしてるか聞いてみてほしい。
Oh, Kana is asking you how do you spend your relaxed time? What do you do for your relaxation periods? I was asked to do backgrounds for this animation uh, and for previous animation seasons also. I was actually asked to be a background director for animation series. But because I'm working on my book and because I like to paint stuff for you and make comics and do stuff online, I declined for now. But maybe I'll get back to it when I have a bit more time and energy for making a big project like this. 書く YouTube 見る歌う書く音楽作るんだよね。音楽作るかな。漫画読むとか、書く、リラックスってなんだろうって。あと、アートのチュートリアル見るのも多いかなとか、
じゃあインプットをリラックスにしてる人が多いかな。
そうやね。
でも書くはアウトプットか。
そうだよね。でもリラックスとしても使ってるんですよね。うん。描きのチュートリアルを見てるとか。でアニメを見るとか。
私は表作るとリラックス。
Kana says that for relax she likes to do Excel spreadsheets of stuff. I don't like this part here because it looks a bit unnatural, like with just a line. So I'll try to erase it a bit. なんかすごいなんかこうまっすぐなのでちょっと消してみる。
ランダムにする。これ顔映ってない？
映ってない。こんな感じ。
なるほど。教えてくれてありがとう。
Thanks for answering Kana's question. I don't know what she is planning with this, but okay. So I made a hole here, so it does not look like it's so straight. Okay, so more or less like this, I guess. After saying this, he adds more details. Yeah, Kana is a freelance artist. She does things like character animations, and stickers, and all kinds of things. She did children's book that's called Magic Ramen, and you can buy it in US on US Amazon. And she also did recently animated stickers for Google's messaging app, for example. So okay, so the next step is this heel here. But first I need a like 3 seconds break. So I'll just put it out. Okay, I'm back. Where's the iPad? It's the iPad. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. I want to do this part here next. And can I do a folder in a folder? Let's see. Um, so I'll put the plans in a folder. Group. I can. Yay! It makes things easier. And okay, so I want to look at this. Was not able to find any nice reference for this part, so I'll just wing it, I guess. I want to add some buildings in the distance, so like here is something maybe, and something like a roof here. So there is like a destination to which this guy can go later, like maybe a building here, like a wall and a roof, and like a fence. And so okay, let's sketch it. Let's not do it like this. Let's just sketch it and let's see what happens. um, I'll be using the sketching set pencil. Okay, so there's like a too thick. There's like a okay, this part here. So let's put like a fence here and maybe like a house with some windows here. And let's make it a bit in perspective and a roof like this. And a second one here, we can see the side of it a bit, and then we are add a tree here so it's not so okay. And let's make it like maybe not 2 stories, but like this kind of shop, maybe something like that. And a window here with a balcony, maybe there's like a cafe there or something. And a window and roof like this, and a second roof here that we can just see what is this, what there's like something here. And let's say there is like a hill on this side here, so you can go up the hill, and we will paint like a Japanese Torii gate maybe here, and let's consult it with Kana so she can tell us. はなちゃん、これこんな感じでなんか建物を入れたら面白そうだけど。
あ、いいと思う。
通りいる？
鳥？
うん、こっち。
あってもいいと思う。
じゃあ
なんか赤だしパッと入ると
ね
面白いかな。
Okay, so
かなりギリギリの位置だから。
うん、
でも切れはしないんじゃなかろうか。
ちょっと見てみよう。
なんか
あ、切れはしないね。
いけるね。
Okay.
お願いします。
Okay, so after a quick consultation, the buildings are okay. Okay. So let's make them like this opacity, and let's lock this layer, and let's add some layers here so we can add the buildings. I'll be using just like a regular brush, maybe this one to add the overall shape of the things. I think that maybe I can go away with just one or two layers for this. So let's use a color that is easy to see here. So like this white pinkish color, for example. And this part here, I'll erase it a bit so it looks like it's behind the part here, and maybe I'll use one more layer, so like this. No, one more layer underneath this part here, and let's use a different color, and let's add the building, so like this, and I'll erase this part here. So it's a trick that I learned in the animation backgrounds. If you want just sharp edges, you paint over and then erases faster. Okay, and on top of it, I'll just fill it in better. And on top of it, we will add one layer so we can paint some plants here. I'll just use the same brush. Like this, kind of. I'll add one more layer again on top of this, so I can then add some nice sharp details, and one layer more yellow, for example. I would use this technique of just random colors a lot when I was doing animation backgrounds, and then when I finished making a background that was like 300-500 layers, my screen looked like an explosion of colors sometimes, so it was not a sight that was easy on the eyes. Okay, so we have a gate here, and we'll add some plants behind it so it's not so lonely. Like this, it's easier it's more visible right now. And again, a layer here between the gate and the pink building, so we can add some plants here so we can cover it a bit. It looks more natural this way. Okay, so these are the buildings. Oh, and we will turn off the sketch layer and see how it looks. Yeah, okay. So now I can lock the layer and add some nice colors on top of it. Maybe I'll use some colors from the inside of the shop to keep it kind of consistent. Or maybe some colors from here would be better. Okay, so we have a wall here to prevent people from falling down the... And for now we'll color this the same color, and I will use some colors from here. Let's see, we'll make a shadow from the roof and make a nice blue roof tiles color, and I'll use some brown color to add some details on the building, so like this maybe. We don't have to be really realistic here, just want to show that something is here, and that's all. With more distance, the amount of details we should show is less and less. So I'll use the sky. I'll use the sky what the hell? I'll use the sky color to make a thing here, so we can show that there's like a window. You write it like this. I have an actual keyboard shortcut for writing my Japanese name, so because it takes a bit time. Okay, so let's add the roof like this. Yeah, this is more or less the level of details that we want to have. Maybe a bit too much. Make it fatter. Let's see what happens. Yeah, and we want to show that there's a window here, and if the inside of the shop is in shadow, we could make it dark, or we could make a reflection from the window. Let's go for the darker. No. Yeah, this is better. So let's add maybe like a thing here, and let's make it like a maybe a balcony or a railing so people don't fall down the... So there's something here either way. Okay, and let's make the other building. Let's lock it, and let's make it also this kind of color, for example. I like it. And let's paint first the roof, because I want to get the hang of the shape of the building. So maybe this reddish metal kind of roof, like this. Okay, and let's make the wall that faces this part brighter, but it takes shadow from this tree here, so let's make it like kind of like this. Let's put a window here. I mean, using only the colors that are already in the picture, so I'm kind of safe with them. Like this. And there should be like a storm window shutter thing maybe here, but because it's in this direction, let's make it like this. Okay, that looks okay. And I'm trying to make it as squarish as I can without adding so many details, so it looks like a building. And I'll add a layer below because I want to add like a banner, like a banner here. So there's something here, and maybe like a electric pole thing here. Yeah, and maybe there's like a part of the shop that goes out like here, like a marquee or something. And marquee, how is, what's he called, Marquis de Carabas. Kyuni Nihongo ga oi.
ありがとうございます。かっこいいです。日本人ですか？日本人じゃないですって答えてくれてる他の人が。
そっか。
うん。柏津さんに対して
日本人かな。
日本人ですか？
Okay. Ah, this is a different layer. No. Okay, like this. Okay, so more or less like we have some buildings here and there, and then let's pick this layer, and I want to first paint the stairs. Ah, no. What did I do? I erased it. Okay. Okay. Lock it. By the way, to lock the layer, you use your two fingers and you just drag, like swipe right, and it locks the layer, which is a nice, like a shortcut for this. Kana has an Instagram. She does not update it so often, but she has one. Okay, and let's add some details to the Torii gate, maybe this color. Ah, like this. It's kind of weird. Let's make it like half in shadow, maybe this will help a bit. Hello! Welcome to everyone that is watching. Okay, so I'll select the layer that's on top here and add some detail maybe. I don't want this gate to be too visible because it looks a bit too convenient for the picture. So I'll paint over it a bit. So it's barely visible. How much detail is too much? It's just something that you have to wing. And there's no rule, but it differs from the style. You can make stuff really vague, or you can make things really detailed. It differs. For the backgrounds I did for like Makoto Shinkai movies, we did a lot of details in the backgrounds. But if you look at Studio Ghibli, for example, mm, they don't put so much details even in the foreground if they are not needed, especially. So it really differs on from the style of the animation. Let's add some highlights here and there so we can establish the lighting more. Lighting, not lightning. And I want to add some more saturated nice green here and there, like this green for example will do. And let's erase a bit of this so it's not that obviously digital. Okay, here and there. And I'll be doing a separate video about this also when Kana finishes her animation, and she's about to finish it. I'll make a full explanatory video about the whole process, so you'll be able to see a nice video on my channel about this background and about the animation that Kana is doing. So how often does it take? It depends on what I'm doing a lot. For example, if I'm painting things like the sketches I uploaded to my Tumblr, I think the day before yesterday, I can paint 2 of them in a day probably. But if I do a painting for my book, it takes me 3 days to finish, more or less, depending on the size, but more or less 3 days. When I do a background like this, I could probably do it in one day if I work on it without breaks. So the standard for an animation background in the studio that I worked at was like one background per day on average. So there were some backgrounds that took me like 3 days, but there were some backgrounds that took me like few hours to finish because they had on like sky or stuff like that. So it differs a lot about on the content of the painting, but yeah, somewhere from 5 hours to 3 days, and depending on what I'm doing. A bit of too much of stuff here. So let's make it more simple in places. Okay, something like this, I guess. Let's try to put some hard strokes on the rocks below. So I'll just take a brush that's like a hard brush, and let's put some highlights. Let's try to put some highlights and stuff in. So I'll be erasing some lines a bit. Here and there to make them more sharp and rock like. The traditional ones can be faster, but usually in my with my style of painting they're not. If I do a sketch with watercolors, it can be faster, but compared to a sketch digitally, it's more or less the same probably. The way that I work does not differ so much when I work digitally compared to when I work by hand. It's just a different tool, but requires the same amount of attention and similar amount of time to finish and add all the details. So I would like to have, and I will be working on a style of painting traditionally that will allow me to make my works faster a bit. Because if I want to do a comic, for example, I have to work faster than now. So I will try to develop a style that's more loose, but at the same time looks nice. This is one of my goals for this year, actually. So I'm trying to add some cracks and rock-like shapes to this part here to make it look more like a cliff, actual cliff, than just a blob of something. We do play Monster Hunter. Kana plays more than I do, but we sometimes do cooperation on tougher monsters and do stuff together. We wanted to try Diablo 3, but I didn't like it so much, so we are still playing Monster Hunter.
夏に帰ってそろそろ400時間プレイ時間が経ったらしい
Kana says she has about 400 hours on it. I have a lot less because my level is not so high as hers, but I haven't seen Shibasaki's channel. Maybe I have to look. Maybe I saw, but I don't know the name. I'm really bad at remembering names, so which layer is this? Tell me. Okay, this one probably. Okay, so I'll add some detail here, like sharper details, to make it fit the rest of the illustration a bit more. This looks okay. And some highlights too, maybe, so I can define the shape of the plants a bit more. Is he the one that does the most of the painting on in like outside of his house, like in a, how to call it, a green room, greenery room? James Gurney is awesome. I watch his videos and I learned a lot actually about gouache paintings from his gouache paintings videos, and he answered some of my questions recently. So I'm using the, how do you call it, Apple Pencil thing, the new one, because I'm on the new iPad. So I'm using the Apple Pencil thing, and I really like it. I really like the Apple Pencil. Especially the new one because it snaps magnetically to the side of the iPad, so it charges wirelessly. Um, really useful to just like, if you have a slight break, you can put it on the side of the iPad and it charges really fast also. So for example, here I'm on a level that I don't care about layers so much. I want to just add some details fast, and that's what I'm doing. But I would do better if I I have the new iPad with the new Apple Pencil, and I had Wacom Cintiq for some years, and I also worked on Wacom Cintiq at the animation studio for some time. And I have to tell that the display and the pen of the iPad is better than the one on the Cintiq. It gives a more natural feeling. It's portable, so you can use it at any angle that you want. If you just put it like on your lap, or you can put it on a stand or whatever. So it's easier to use as you wish than the Cintiq, especially the bigger ones, because they are really thick and really heavy, and you have to be tethered to your computer. So the problem that I had with the Cintiq is resolution. So the resolution of the screen on the iPad is really high. You cannot see the pixels, but at the same time, it's really light and it's really fast. So you don't have the minus of having a computer that on 5K resolution display is going like Photoshop. But it's really fast and there's no lag at all when you paint. And the other thing is that you can put it on any angle and use it wherever, so it's easier on your spine and on your back because you can adjust it however you want. Just take it with you to a cafe or whatever and continue work. So I really like it, and especially like with apps that are made for iPad. So like Procreate, for example, it's really easy to use, and the, how do you call it, the barrier between you and your art is less, I think, than working on the computer for me. I'm not speaking about everyone, but I did my recent painting in Photoshop for the brushes that I did for the Photoshop brushes, but I haven't done any Photoshop painting since because I just preferred painting on my iPad right now. So something like this, I guess. Oh, this is a different layer. No. Yeah, everyone is different. It's just uh, I'm used to painting traditionally a lot, and for me, iPad is enough in terms of power and possibilities that I have here. For me, Procreate is enough for my painting. So I really like the ability that I can just take it into my bag and go somewhere and continue my painting while still having the functionality of everything being recorded so I can show it to you guys after I finish the painting. So this is a big, huge bonus feature for me that Photoshop does not have. The only way I could think about filming stuff from Photoshop was having a secondary screen on which I have the picture displayed. Well, it's like 100% size, and I film the whole screen all the time while I'm painting on the second screen in Photoshop. Maybe there is a better method that allows you to film without the zooming and panning that I do a lot in Photoshop. So I don't know. I really like Hayao Miyazaki's work, of course. I really like Oga Kazuo's backgrounds, and he was also a background director for Ghibli things. I follow a lot of artists on Instagram. You can just check out who I follow on Instagram, and all of them are really brilliant people that do a lot of interesting things that I see each day, and I feel inspired. Yeah, something like this, I guess. I want to add some kind of like rocks that are underwater here-ish. So I'll just make some nice shapes that are visible like this. Take color like this, for example. Okay. And on top of them, I'll add some water reflections with nice bluish color. Mm. I saw all of his movies. I'm talking about Mamoru Hosoda, and I liked some of them. They're really impressive technically, and I like some aspects of the stories. But I think that he uses a lot of the same tropes and tricks in a lot of his movies. Mm. So I would like to see a bit more variety in what he does, which would make his work fresh again, I guess. Yeah, something like this, I guess. Let's add the fence here because I didn't paint it before. Kana will add things here, but I would like to have this background kind of a complete painting, so let's add it. Where is it? It's this one, huh? that's the thing about Ghibli movies, and especially Hayao Miyazaki's movies, that he uses a lot of like similar tricks, for example, but the theme and the atmosphere of each movie is dictated but by what he wants to kind of convey. So you can have like, Spirited Away, and the next movie he does is Ponyo, which is completely different. So even if sometimes he was using the same tricks and editing tricks, um, he's doing it less and less in his newer movies. So in his old works, you would see like kind of comedic moments, like the characters when they are falling, they would like swim in the air or something like that. But the more he kind of developed, the less he was using this um, trick thing. But in Hosoda's movies, even in the newest one, you still have this um, flying through time effect, which looks exactly like the one that he used in the first movie that he directed. So he has his like favorite themes and his favorite tricks that he uses, and they're kind of getting old a bit on me. So which layer is this? Wait, I'll use the layer selection. Can I use it? Yeah. Oh, okay, it's this one. I didn't paint this part here because Kana will add stuff standing here on the windowsill, but since I'm doing this painting, I would like to have it like a finished thing that I can show you on YouTube or whatever. So I would like to add this part here so it's not cut strangely. Okay, and let's turn on the lighting effects. Where are they? Lighting, and this one, and maybe this one. Okay, and we don't need the. Okay, it's locked. We don't need this layer anymore. Okay, it looks nice, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll show you with the character. Okay, so here's the character. Okay, so I think it looks okay. Yay! So the next thing will be for Kana to make the small things that are in various places on the windowsill and in other places. So like um, a map that he has and stuff for eating and stuff on the windowsill and stuff on the tables in the back. But she will paint it in her own style, so it's similar to the so it's in a similar style to the character. So like stuff on the posters, like things here, like this part here, and then we will put the character on and add some effects and add some stuff like how do they call it, steam rising from the dish, and some maybe moving leaves here on the tree. We'll just cut some leaves that I did and move them a bit so it seems like there's a wind here. I might add some like lighting effects on the water here, so to make it kind of sparkle, and there'll be like objects here like a small toy cow thing that moves its head like up and down on the wind, and a plate, I think. So the next thing that will happen to this is adding these elements which are called harmony. So they are made in similar style to the background, but they are actually elements of the animation. So elements of the animated cells and stuff like moving them, adding special effects, adding a bit of lighting here and there, but more or less the background is done. So now the thing will be done in by Kana, and after that a little bit by me in Apple Motion, I guess. So I guess that's it for this stream, and we did the background for this one, so the background part. Okay, thank you for joining me. I will be making a bigger video about this on my channel when Kana finishes her animation, and she is already, I think, um, 90% done animating the character eating. So you can see more of her things on her YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and search for um, Kana Urbanowicz, you will find her channel with the previous a commercial, okay, with her previous animations like this one of the girl eating kare. So if you want to see what the finished product will look like, you can just go to her website and to her YouTube channel and see it by yourself. And I think we are kind of going up with the quality in this one, also with the background, but also with the animation. She's doing it right next to me, and it looks awesome already. So I hope you will like this one too. Okay, thank you for joining me in this longish stream. I will do a video about it on my YouTube later, and just see you around in the next video. Thank you. And done.